My name is Joanne. I've been in the US for 21 years.
I've been here for about 15 years, almost 15 years.
Name is Danilo, and I've been in the U.S. for more than 20 years.
My name's Em, and I've been here for 16 years.
My name is Arthur, and I've been living in the United States for approximately 30 years.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how happy are you living here?
I would probably say 8. It's really because there's more opportunities here for me to find a job. And then when I have a job, I can buy all the things that I want, not like back home.
On a scale from 1 to 10, I would say 7. I was happy in the Philippines, but I am happier here. There are a lot of jobs. I can work as much as I want to or less, depending on what I want to do. So just because of that, it's easier and happier for me.
I would say out of 8 right now, just because I'm not really where I want to be in life yet. But that's what we're working towards. I'm definitely blessed to be living in America, just because, of course, whenever I visit the Philippines, I'm always happier because a lot of my family is there.
I would say 10. It's just a great place to live.
How has America's hustle culture impacted you, and how do you respond to it?
It's definitely a lot of work, and a lot of people aim to be as successful as they can be here. And I guess with the culture of America, it's more so like, people always trying to be better than other people. But in my case, it's more so just trying to make the best of what I have. I didn't let the competitiveness aspect of it get to me. I don't care about being better than others. I just care about being better than who I was before, and also living for God and His kingdom, because that's the most important thing right now, is that I honor Him in everything that I do, and I'm not doing it for myself and my own greed. I'm doing it for Him. Definitely hard to get a job. I graduated with a psychology degree, so right now I'm working as a server. So I'm kind of trying to make ends meet with the serving job, but also trying to pour money into my business at the same time, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be in the restaurant business forever.
I can't really say anything in terms of how it is in the Philippines because, for me, it's basically the same thing. It's like you work hard for, if you want things, you work hard for it. Call it hustle, whatever you got to do is just called working hard. That's all there is to it. I'll work from 8 to 5 and then go to school at 5:30 till like 10 o'clock. Then go home and sleep. And I still got time to go to parties. I still got time to see friends. So it wasn't too bad. It's just, like I said, you just gotta find balance.
I would say like with what I'm doing now as an NP, I get paid salaried. So technically, if you're working hourly, you're supposed to do 40 hours a week. So let's say 8 hours a day. But I guess it depends on your personality and your passion. So like for me, I've always been a workaholic. So I would work in a day probably 10 hours. For me, it takes a lot of my time. I do get paid good, but at the same time, because I'm salaried, it doesn't matter how many hours I work in a day. I still get the same amount. I had to cut back because I had to tell myself that you are making good money financially, but it's really important to make time for your family. So I would say that as long as you find the balance, you should be okay.
Yeah, so at the beginning, when we first came here, I actually embraced it. I loved it. I really enjoyed working. I love the opportunities that were given to us because in the Philippines, we really didn't have the opportunities to work or have jobs at all. Like, you're lucky if you even get a job. When I worked as a nurse in the Philippines, I was one of the 500 applicants for a position, and it was difficult to get a job. But when we got here, there were multiple jobs. You can do as much job, I mean, work as much as you can, you want or you can. So I worked and worked and worked, and it has become something that's expected of us, I guess, as Filipino nurses. Like most of our coworkers, non-Filipino coworkers, actually expects the Filipino nurses to work or pick up shifts for hard to staff days, because they know that the Filipino nurses would love to work, especially on night shifts, because it has more money working night shifts. It was quite difficult because there was no break. I will work, and then my husband will work as well in the morning, so we have to exchange cars in the garage or at the parking lot of the hospital, just so we can both work at the same time. But it was fun at the beginning. It was really great, making a lot of money, being able to buy the stuff that you wanted. As we kept going, and as we keep on working and working, I did get tired, and I almost burnt out, or I did burn out. But then after I got some breaks, I wanted to work again. So I don't know, maybe I just love working.
How difficult was it to adapt to the culture here in America?
When I moved here, I think I was 19. I don't really remember having a hard time, because, well, I do remember though that I struggled a little bit because we didn't have a vehicle. We were in Tennessee, so back then you really need public transportation to go around, but so we only had one car, so it was a struggle on that part. But as far as adapting, I don't remember myself struggling. I think I was just blessed to be surrounded with people that embraced me for who I am, like, being new to the country, struggling with the accent, and they actually love the accent, especially in Tennessee. It's like a sexy thing for them.
Adopting here is it's actually not difficult. We already know most of the culture, except probably, it's American history and stuff like that. But as far as the culture wise, Filipinos are already aware. We listen to the same kind of music, same kind of food, same kind of holiday. So it wasn't hard. The only thing I would say will make it hard is if you're not fluent in English, and that's about it.
Actually, it wasn't bad. I would say it was smooth. I started off here in the United States as a student. I was, introduced people of different races. I didn't feel alienated at all. So basically, I just, I did my thing. I thought I was part of the environment, or the community. Not until when my wife Lorena came, she said, "Okay, let's have some fun, have a few drinks at a bar." When we came in into an entrance with the pool on a pool table. These guys who were playing stopped playing and then looked at us, and I was like, but nevertheless, I did not really feel uncomfortable. Just because I was like, I'm a person. So I was like, I have a different color, but what the hell?
I came here with an open mind, and with not a lot of expectations, but there are also some struggles, like the language barrier. I know we learned English back home and everything. We studied English, but it's different to speak it. It's different to communicate with it, with everyone else speaking in English and not able to understand your native language. So that was one of the struggles, and also difficult in general, just because everything looks different. And everyone looks at you as the one who's different. I'm not sure if I got the message across, but it's just difficult because we are different. But we were very lucky that when we came here, there were people who were also from the Philippines who helped us out, and I think that made a lot of difference. We were welcomed by people who didn't know us but cared for us like as if we are family, and we met friends who became family and helped us a lot adjusting here in the US.
What do you miss most about living in the Philippines?
Honestly, it's just the culture. For example, you can just barge into a friend's house and say, "Hey, I'm here. Do you want to do something or something like that?" Here in the States, of course, you can't do that. You have to make an appointment.
I would say the stress-free life. Um, yeah, I mean, I can buy whatever I want here as long as I have a job. But at the same time, like it's so simple. It depends on where I guess where you live in the Philippines. Where I live, it's pretty simple. You're surrounded with. I mean, and it depends on what you, I guess, like are into as well. Like for me, I like nature, so I was surrounded with a lot of like I was surrounded with the beach. I was surrounded with trees, so that's peaceful for me. But over here where I live, it's mostly in the city, so you get to hear the crowd, you get to hear the cars. So in some ways that you don't get much sleep.
I miss my family most. My parents came here and went back to the Philippines because this is not for them. I primarily miss them the most, and also I miss the easy living lifestyle in the Philippines.
I think one thing that you're not gonna find here or easily is the sense of community in the Philippines. Yeah, here. There's small gatherings for communities, but unlike in the Philippines, that especially the area that I grew up, or even in the provinces where I usually go and visit, is the fact that you know your neighbors, that you're friends with your neighbors, even if they just moved in or you just moved there. That sense of community I think what I miss in the Philippines.
What is the best and worst thing about the US? Be honest.
The best thing about America is that there's endless opportunities that you can have here. You definitely learn a lot, not just through education, but by everyone that you meet. Now, when it comes to the worst thing, I mean, other than the other than the leadership, and I would say the biggest thing, one of the two biggest things I guess I can give you when it comes to the worst thing here is that there's a lot of racism that goes on. It may not be as prominent or obvious to other people that don't know about it, but for the people who are experiencing it, it's definitely there. So just seeing people get mistreated here and there, it's definitely one of the worst things that I can see here in America. The other thing is kind of what we touched on before, is just the whole competitiveness aspect of America, which is like when you meet people here in America, the first thing that they ask you is, what do you do? And you're supposed to answer with, and there's nothing to be ashamed of with what you do. It's just the way that, it's just the culture here in America that always asks, like, they ask you that question in order to be like, oh, what respect can I give you? So I'm a server at Copper Shark, and whenever I tell people that, they're always just like, oh, that's cool, like that kind of thing. But you can tell that it's not like oh, that's awesome, like I'm happy for you, like you're doing your best.
I think the best thing would be having the American passport. I do love to travel, and the Blue Passport has given me the opportunity to visit multiple countries without having to worry about visa or being denied entry to other countries. And that's one of the things that I love the most, being here in the United States and being an American citizen. First thing I would say is taxes. I don't like the taxes. I don't like, having to work and work and work, and also pay a lot of taxes. The more you work, the more taxes you have to pay.
I would say for the one of the best things is like for me, I have a toddler, and unfortunately, she has to get help from in meeting her needs because she has autism. So even if you have insurance, health insurance, or if you don't, the government, they provide services to help your kids. So, and that's really, totally free, and that's nice. And we're talking about good services. So that's one of the best things that I think America has to offer. As far as worse, I would just say like living paycheck to paycheck at some point. Like even though you only have this much, but you're tempted to buy something, and then to the point that you would kind of forget about the important things like the bills. So if you get in that hole and you can't get yourself out, then you'll be in a lot of stress. So it's more like financial.
Best thing living in the U.S. is of course when it comes to healthcare. Best in America. Worst is of course if you don't have any insurance. That's it. Everything is expensive. And then of course community. Best in America because it's kind of the melting pot. However, of course, there are other people that likes to live in the past where they feel like they're much more superior than as long as especially when you're not the same color.
I would say the best thing is the amenities of living. I guess, healthcare wise, it's better. Work wise, it's a lot, it's a lot easier to find work here, at least in my field. Worst thing, I'd say people focus too much on race and the differences. It kind of gets in a way, especially in overall, like, media and stuff like that. That's what they talk about. There's too much fear mongering, but like I said, like in normal day, it's not like that at all. It's people get along really nicely. It's not as bad as people perceive, or even in other countries.
Do you see yourself living in the U.S. until retirement?
Yeah, I actually see myself living in the US until retirement, and also see myself retiring here in the US, just because I am just so accustomed to the lifestyle, and also the healthcare system is a little bit better where we came from. I know the dollar goes a long way in the Philippines, but I'm just not confident with the healthcare. And also, I have grown up children, and they will be starting their families soon. So I wouldn't want to leave them here by themselves and not have family to help them out when it's time for them to raise their children.
I would like to take half of my time staying in the United States, and half of my time staying in the Philippines. Best thing is when to enjoy the U.S. is of course spring and summer, then be in the Philippines during winter times.
I think it's a lot of people like considering retiring in the Philippines, especially you're Filipino, going back to the Philippines at retirement. But there's a lot of factors that people do not consider when they retire. Yes, it's the cost of living in the Philippines is a lot cheaper. Your dollars can go along longer, or you can buy more stuff. But if you think about it, there's a lot more expenses. Healthcare system in the Philippines just not good. it's expensive and it's hard to find. If you have to get like a medical procedures, or just even like go to a doctor, it's it costs money, right? And you have to go to like different hospitals for different services. It's not as centralized, or the same way here. And I believe there is insurance, but I believe it's really expensive as well. So okay, and then one thing, like even like rich people or famous people, like if they get sick, they still have to go to the U.S. or like different countries to get medical attention. Some of the medications are not available in the Philippines. I've known people where they actually order the medications here in the U.S. and send it back.
Honestly, in the beginning, I would say yes. Just because of the same answer I gave for the first question about how much we can earn here in my career. But seeing how my in-laws are going through when they hit retirement, it's not what everybody's thinking, that you're stress free, you don't have to pay for anything as far as like health insurance. But in all honesty, you still have to. So I would say yes and no. Maybe, I guess, like go through the whole retirement benefit and somehow stay most of my years, or stay most of my time back home to enjoy, how, what they say, like a dollar goes a long way back home. So I would probably do that, but I don't see myself staying here for the full retirement, because it's expensive than what people really think.
What would benefit going back and forth?
What I've seen with like some of my Filipino patients, what they're doing is like, I would say like before they go home for a few months, they would get, like, I'm just saying an example, like they would get 3 months worth of medications just for them to have enough supply, because most of them is covered by like the government run insurance like Medicare or Medicaid, so it's covered. So they would do that.
I would say yes, just because of the fact that as much as I would want to retire in the Philippines, it would be nice. But because of all the people that I met here and all the connections I've made, I don't think it would be ideal for me to retire in the Philippines, because of the fact that I don't want to leave the people that I love here. And also, if there was ever any way that people would ask me for advice, I would want to help them here and help them start their own business too. The Philippines is all tropical and it's always sunny and warm, and that's where I want to be, by the water. But it would be nice to just take vacations here and there.
What advice would you give someone who is moving or starting their life here in the US?
Adjustment is hard. Be patient, and honestly, when opportunity comes knocking at your door, take it, and do good at it.
And I always say this to my cousins: if you have the finances to stay, I would say just stay in the Philippines and just come over in the US just to travel. Just make sure that you would surround yourself with the right people, because you are starting from scratch when you move here. And then just make sure that if you decide to move here, you have enough finances to start yourself in the next 3 months. Because of course, if you move here for work, you're really, unless you have family here, you won't have anything. So it's hard to, and then that's also to avoid you from culture shock as well. So I would just say that if you decide to move here, just make sure you have enough financial resources in the next 3 months, and then at the same time have fun. It's all about how people deal with stress. So it is a lot of stress here in America, but at the same time you have to find something that will keep you from staying here other than money.
I do advise them to have an open mind and go with the flow. And also, I just talked about this with my friend earlier, to take risks, because you shouldn't live your life in a box. Like coming here as a nurse, life is not just about a nurse. You can also have other opportunities beyond nursing. You can also prosper even if you're not a nurse. So don't try to live your life in a box. Keep an open mind and take some risk and see what life in America has to offer.
Always do your best in everything that you do here in the US because of the fact that you never know who's watching you or you never know who you can come across with. You know, when you get here in the US, you might be serving like I am right now. But just because you're serving and you're not where you want to be in life doesn't mean that you shouldn't do your best because of the fact that the people that you meet each and every day, they have connections that you don't know about. And when they see you working hard, they can bring you up with them because of the fact that they see your work ethic and they see how nicely you treat people. Remember that, you know, when you become successful here in the US, always look back and reach back to other people and help them because the fact that God blessed you with an opportunity to be here, and with the opportunities that you have, you are able to bless others with what you have. Like, it's true, we have a lot of opportunities and we are blessed to have those, and we are blessed to be making, you know, a dollar amount and not the pesos amount. But just always remember and always just remember God, because what God blessed you with in the first place, if you don't take care of it properly and you don't treat people the right way, God can also just take it away just like that. So that's one of the biggest things for me, is just be humble and remember where you came from.
A lot of the problem or the biggest challenge that I've seen people is the homesickness that they experience. Especially you grew up in the Philippines, or like, you know, you're coming here, you're older than 16 or, you know, 18, whatever. If you're just 13 under, it's not as bad. You're gonna still have friends, and you know, you're gonna meet people because of school. But if you're older than that, or even older than 21, it can be tough to have new friends, especially you don't have any, you know, you don't know anybody. But you know, there's go to like Filipino events and stuff like that. But you know, just be prepared on that homesickness, because you're gonna miss the Philippines, and especially the people, you know, your friends and your family.